on here? All right. Wait, you. Wow. You guys are busy. All right. So I wanted to go back to Debert and the video evidence that they floated. So now that we've watched the two press conferences, so 24th, they have this huge time gap, which gets asked about, right? And there's no answers for, after a lot of going into what the RCMP did, even though the reporter only asked what he was doing during that period. Campbell goes off into self-centered land, distraction, and eventually says, well, we actually don't really have an idea. Then on the 28th, it's, well, we definitely know for sure he was up in Debert. So I want to have a look at some of that a little bit more because, and we're going to do some reading, so you'll have to bear with me on my reading. Because I found things that just seem to raise questions. So let's see, how is the best way to do this? I want to go to where Burrell kind of just says, oh, you'll be happy for the conclusion or whatever. Is that what it, when he says that? Multiple hypotheses. I don't know. All right. Well, I think that's where it starts. Well, actually, we'll just listen to his stuff from about here, I think. Let's try that. Took a drive to Debert where he's supposed to be hiding overnight. No way two youth saw. Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about. Hey, Kelly. So obviously it's very difficult for them to say, well, 1035 is out, 1045 seems questionable. They weren't able to give you any video of the fire hall. They inserted the fire hall in Great Village. They gave you footage, video footage, which again is non-conclusive. It can be any car and it can be any time and date. Has no date timestamp. Very interesting, though they inserted one after the fact and told you that it's 1056. Well, okay, or 1051 or whatever they said, and then go on to Debert. And they have these eyewitnesses that kind of came out, and I'm only going to focus on the kids, I think, because it does get complicated and I don't want to get too lost. Let's listen to what Mr. Burrell says. Great day streaming. Well, thank you very much for all of you joining me. I appreciate it. Hey, Cheryl. And I'm really winging it, so please bear with me.
Situation, our Angelina Pizzeria at 11:08. There are some observations made by a surveillance camera there. Dave's Service Center, which is on the south side of Plains Road, about 270 kilometers east of Angelina's Pizzeria. There are some observations on a security camera there. And then Farmhouse Bakery, which is on Ventura Drive, just around the corner from Plains Road. There are some observations made on a camera there. So that's the geography. A week ago, I was perhaps an hour and a half, 2 hours on the geographic setting. I've been about 5 minutes on it for purposes of getting you from Portapic through to Debert here today. But I want to take you back to Great Village. This is where we discussed last week in the prior presentation that the perpetrator left Portapique and was seen passing by the Wilson's gas stops at 10:51. You will recall this video. This shows a marked police vehicle traveling towards the Truro direction from the Portapique direction at around 10:51. The question then becomes, where did that vehicle go, or where did the perpetrator go? And there is some information in the materials that give us a sense of perhaps where he went, keeping in mind these are observations from witnesses.
Okay, so the 1051, they don't give you, I'm sure that there would be footage from the fire hall. They don't give you that, which is located right next door, which I found interesting. And also that there probably would be RCMP people in the area. And obviously, if you go through the statements, it does seem like probably two of them would have passed him, but I think maybe they found some dip in the road or something again. Okay, so let's continue.
That is, there was a observation by Valerie Smith. Valerie Smith is a resident, or was residing on the southern portion of Station Road on April 18th. And she made some observations that were and are pertinent to this introductory remarks to the foundational document. You'll note that she was across the river, the Great Village River, compared to where Wilson Gas Stops is. But she contacted the police on April 22nd, and she provided a statement to the police on April 30th with respect to her observations that she made. She said that she saw marked police cars heading west on Highway 2 at around 10:30 on April 18th. She said she saw a marked police car coming from the Portapique direction, that is the west, at approximately 11:15 p.m. She said that she saw that marked police vehicle turn left and head north up Station Road. She reports that that vehicle was operating with no headlights, which is an interesting observation given what we saw from the 10:51 video.
Okay, so I haven't really gone into her stuff at all yet, because their statements that's the part that I want to really focus on. But the one thing I would note here is that it was using only daytime running lights, no headlights, yet a little further up the road, suddenly he's got the headlights on.
Matthew McGilvery was at the northern portion of Station Road on April 18th. He was in his residence at that time, and he gave a statement to the RCMP on May 2nd, 2020 about what he saw. He said that he was outside with his dog around bedtime and that he saw flashing lights on a police car traveling south on Station Road. He estimated that to be at around 11:05 p.m. There was no siren, but there were flashing lights and the vehicle was moving south. He said that about 2 or 3 minutes later, he saw.
Sorry, did he say the car was moving south? Is that what he just said? He said the car was moving south. Is that correct? Where are we at here? That doesn't... The arrow indicates that he's heading north, or this vehicle is heading north. Am I wrong? Okay, it wasn't Gabe.
Another police vehicle heading north on Station Road. He described it as having its regular headlights on. It had a light bar, but the light bar was not activated. So you're putting this piece of information in with Wilson's gas bar, you're putting it in with Valerie Smith's observations. He also said that he headed inside after he made those two observations, and about 2 or 3 minutes later, he saw the reflection of red and blue lights and an audible siren he believed to be heading south.
Okay, so I guess the only thing, again, I haven't reviewed this portion of it at all, but the headlights come on. I don't know, were they on in the video in Great Village? Then off, then back on? I don't know. That would be one question I would have.
On Station Road. So that's the context of the information with respect to what we know about potential movements on Station Road late in the evening on April 18th. We also know from the GPS records and materials provided to the Mass Casualty Commission that there were 2 police vehicles traveling through the intersection of Highway 104 and Station Road around this time. 10:52 p.m., Constable Paul Cheeseman from the Cumberland District proceeded south along the 104, took the exit at Station Road, and traveled south. At 11 p.m., Constable Mark Blinn from the Cumberland Detachment took the exit from the 104 and also traveled south. The blue dot on the screen will give you a sense of generally where we are. They were obviously not stationary like the blue dot would indicate, but moving south. So all of that information comes together for purposes of trying to get a picture of the movements of the perpetrator late in the evening on April 18th. And that takes us to perhaps some more valuable or reliable information, keeping in mind vagaries of observations with human beings. This will lead us to some videotape surveillance. And Angelina Pizzeria is a name you're going to hear a lot in terms of what's going on in the Debert area, because they had a pretty good security or surveillance system that provided some information for us. Angelina's Pizzeria is located on Plains Road, almost at top of Masstown. We've done our best in the slide to sort of orient this to you, but I want to give you a sense of what was seen by the cameras outside Angelina's Pizzeria at 11:08:10 p.m.
So I would say that doesn't definitively prove to me very much of anything, other than you see a car and possibly it has a push bar on it. I don't know beyond that. It doesn't really. You've also got the school over here. Lots of you are mentioning other stores and shops and people's things along the way that would have cameras, and of course they do. Why is it that we only get this? I don't think this was floated on the 28th. I don't believe Angelina's was, just the Farmhouse Bakery. So we're going to stick with that one. But the school has video surveillance, which funnily enough may show a lot of stuff. I'm not sure why that's never been introduced. Where did that video come from?
But you'll notice vehicle headlights turning onto Plains Road from the Masstown Road. That would leave the impression that that vehicle was coming north from Masstown, and that's of some value in terms of getting a sense of where he was coming from, but it also gives you a sense of where he was going to. I'm going to have another quick look at this. When you look at the video, there appears to be something on the front of that vehicle. I can't say definitively, but it looks or appears to be perhaps a push bar or a black push bar on the front of that vehicle.
So it's a statement like that that automatically, I can't say definitively. Well, then what do you have? Some cockamamie? Why are you trying to pass that off? If you yourself, as an officer of the court, can't say for sure, listen, I firmly believe that is in fact Mormon, because you couldn't see anybody in that vehicle, you couldn't see a number, you couldn't see a license plate, you couldn't see anything. Maybe you saw a push bar, maybe, and he doesn't even know if you did or not. He doesn't know if he did. What does he have? It's looking at things through a critical eye. I'm not saying that the information they're providing is wrong. However, there are questions that arise.
The material that has been provided to the Mass Casualty Commission, we are informed that the RCMP in Nova Scotia had 4 vehicles with black push bars operational on April 18th, 2020. We're advised that 3 of those were SUVs, and those were located in Halifax District. We're advised that one of those was a Taurus, a Ford Taurus, similar to that which you see in the video, and that was located in the Southwest Nova District out of the Kingston detachment. So that gives you the sense of Angelina's Pizzeria. It's actually quite useful in terms of what you see. We're going to move on.
So if you can't say it definitively, I don't think it's useful at all. I think that's a misnomer. And he knows that as an officer of the court.
From Angelina's Pizzeria, southeast down Plains Road for about 270 meters to video from Dave's Service Center, an enterprise that's run at that location. We tried to orient it for you on the slide. So at around 11:09:14, these observations are made.
Okay, so I've watched this video a few times. I, again, see even less evidence, in fact, of a push bar on this car. Not sure, but one thing came to mind right away about this one was to do with Darren's, the last one that we watched, own presentation. This was shot from Dave's service station. Now, when I saw this versus that, they're 2 different angles. The most clear photo that we have of their video, I like how Darren phrased it as we have video evidence. No, they only had stills of video, but the clearest photo that was ever surfaced of anything, no blurry boxes, no speeding ups, no doing anything. The still, the clearest still, was sitting between SO signs, and time stamps weren't cut out and clocks weren't wrong and all this other stuff, was Dave's. But you can see that it's 2 different angles. So I'm like, well, okay, so he's got 2 cameras, right? Let's see here. Where did I have that? So sure enough, I asked if somebody could go out, and yeah, there's 2 cameras. Why they're mounted side by side, not exactly sure. But why is it that they only show you the quick clip box here when their clearest photo that they ever surfaced was the straight ahead one? Why have they not provided the other angle? You know, the one that's right beside it. Perhaps you may be able to stop the video and see numbers on the side of the car, decals, push bar. Maybe it would be clearer. Instead, they gave us this, which doesn't make a lot of sense. No, they're just 2 cameras right located beside each other. So I found that odd. Now, does the I didn't put these in here. Shoot. I might have them all put into a PDF though. I wanted to have that all stuck together. Oh, bollocks. Because that's an important part of it. Is the orders to acquire these videos. I thought I had them. Okay, well, let's continue ahead. So keeping in mind that the 24th, they don't know anything, and the 24th, he was certainly in Debert, right? Okay.
So the video is not the greatest, certainly compared to what you saw from Angelina's Pizzeria. Hard to discern entirely what you're seeing there, and it's very quick. But it gives you a sense of a vehicle traveling east on Plains Road, consistent with what we've seen from Angelina's Pizzeria.
So what did he say? It gives you a sense of a vehicle traveling east. Okay. And that doesn't tell me anything. He knows this. Wow, I saw a car. Look at that car.
I'm going to move you along geographically to the east, southeast. Farmhouse Bakery, indicated to you earlier, is an enterprise on Ventura Drive at 11:10 p.m. Their security cameras captured some images of a vehicle moving in a direction which would appear to be southwest on Ventura Drive. I'm going to play that for you, but I just want to give you a small indication that what you're going to see is a vehicle traveling artificially quick. That's not because the vehicle is driving that quickly, but because of the recording mechanism we're led to understand.
Because the recording mechanism, artificially quick. Okay.
And I'll try to explain that a little bit later to you in more detail. But this is what you see at Farmhouse Bakery. Once again, here's the location at Farmhouse Bakery, looking north onto Ventura Drive. You'll see the travelway in front of you up to the upper portion of the screen.
Where's the date and timestamp? Did they cut that out?
So I've asked you to note that it was traveling very quickly on the recording mechanism, but I'm going to ask you to note as well where the vehicle seems to travel to. That is, as you see it come from the right-hand side of the screen, it goes along to the upper left, and it would appear to turn at the top left corner of the slide. We'll just look at that again, just so that make sure that I'm correct in my assessment in that regard. Now,
Why do you cut the date and timestamp out? What the fuck are you doing? Now, I would say it's because they want to say, you know, he's speeding around. But that would be my argument, right?
so it would appear that there is some movement to the south and a turn at the top left of the video.
Okay. Now, let's see. I've got something here. Now, this goes ahead in time. Wait a second. Where is the one from Darren? So the UFO photo, this is also from Farmhouse Bakery. This is the other camera angle that they have. Now, there's a noticeable difference in the quality of the picture. I've maintained that this picture has been compressed, but I could be wrong. If you look at the tree in the background, funnily enough, you can see that. And I showed that before, because if you stretch it back out a little bit, then but it's the quality of the photo versus the video, which they give to us. So same location, right? Same location, different camera angle, but I'm assuming it's all the same system. You have a far different one. This appears to be overexposed and a sepia filter possibly put on it. I'm not really good with photographs and all that, but you brown it, right? Reflection of headlights. Right. Well, we're gonna get to the kids. So I would say that it's very different than the quality of the video that they surface here, which is quite clear. You know, you can pause the video, and you don't have any browning. You don't have any. You don't see any headlights at the on this video at Farmhouse. The one that the clock doesn't work. Yet Darren provided us a still, even though they had the video, right, on the 28th. 24th, they have no idea. 28th, they do. From a different camera angle, why do we not have both camera angles again? We're only using one. Oh, global construction. Okay, interesting. The global construction one, yeah, I haven't even really gone into that. I need to bring up these. I thought I had it. Give me one moment, because it does. Yeah, great. Your page doesn't load. Fucking super. Video canvas reports. Those are important. Failed to load PDF. Yeah, you can go fuck yourself on that too. Video canvas report. Angelina's. Video canvas report. Dave's. Only 3, of course, right? Now, so let's continue.
So it would appear that there is some movement to the south and a turn at the top left of the video. Global Construction Maritimes had a video camera surveillance system as well. We have watched that. Between 11:11:12 and 11:11:43, exterior cameras mounted behind the building pick up headlights flashing or headlights moving. It's very difficult from that video to set the geographic location of the headlights, other than the timing of the headlight shine at 11:11:12 to 11:11:43. That video is available in the materials, but it gives you a sense here. I'm giving you a sense that there is movement from the northwest down to the southeast along Plains Road, and then north down to the southwest on Ventura Drive. We have Angelina's Pizzeria at 11:08. We have Dave's Service Center at 11:09. We have at 11:10 Farmhouse Bakery, and then headlights at Global Construction. The information available to the Mass Casualty Commission suggests that the perpetrator headed into the Debert Business Park at around 11:10 p.m. on April 18th. So.
Okay, so I reviewed as I recall, I reviewed the global construction thing. I didn't see shit, but maybe I just have bad eyes. I didn't see anything, and he doesn't show it himself. I think he shows something. And one of the videos was missing off their site, which means that they substituted in something else, took something else down to substitute in a video, because it was originally seven things, and then it turned into 8, which means that they took something down because it still stayed at 164. But let's not get too sidelined with that. But for sure, he's not establishing anything. He sees movement, possibly, not definitively. I don't know. What has he shown you? Nothing he would say himself. You could put this man under oath, and he would say, I can't say definitively. No. Could be anybody. Could be anybody. You might see a push bar. that doesn't tell anybody anything. Movement. Really? Movement. I think there's probably movement. On any average night anywhere, there is movement. It's a strange thing. I understand this, but it's really odd. Let's continue.
Debert Business Park, you've heard me talk of that. What is the Debert Business Park? Well, I'll just go through that a little bit here, back to the geography lesson. Plains Road, discussed that earlier. Plains Road is along the top right of the slide. It's the main road that runs through Debert. I draw your attention perhaps for the future in this slide to the far right corner. You'll see a small geographic anomaly, not the far right corner, the far right side of the slide. It's the pullout, a geographical landmark on the south side of the Plains Road, and it will be important for purposes of the events that took place on Plains Road much later in the morning. It's the location of the murder of Kristen Beaton. Ventura Drive, I described earlier as the spine going through the Debert Business Park. And I just wanted to give you a few landmarks. This is the Debert Hospitality Center. It's a big infrastructure building that's located to the north of Ventura Drive. Located the Debert Diefenbunker, and I was of the impression when going through this that everybody would know what the Diefenbunker was, but some of my younger colleagues didn't. The Diefenbunker is a Cold War nuclear fallout shelter built in the 60s. It still remains at the Debert Business Park to this day. You can have access to it. But for important purposes.
Important to keep Debert in your mind. This is what I would say. It's important to keep the Diefenbunker sort of in your mind, right? Because the Diefenbunker comes up elsewhere. Sow the seeds subtly. And then you'll be like, okay, yeah, Diefenbunker. Yeah, I remember they drove to the Diefenbunker. That's why the introduction of the Diefenbunker. Nobody cares. It has nothing to do with it. Nobody wants the geography lesson in reference to the Diefenbunker. But thanks.
Purposes of our inquiry here, Messina Drive becomes important. So we've gone from Plains Road to Ventura Drive, and now we need to pay some attention to Messina Drive. Messina Drive is the quasi-loop. I call it a quasi-loop because it doesn't quite connect, as you can see by the graphic, that's run south on Ventura or from Ventura Drive. Just want to close in a little bit more on Messina Drive. Messina Drive, you can see here in relation to the large infrastructure, the hospitality center. Messina Drive is, as located in the graphic. Global construction, Maritimes, I identified earlier, is kind of caught within that quasi-loop, right within it. And to the left is the McDonald's portable welding enterprise. We'll talk about that in a minute. Off Messina Drive, in the southwest corner, we've identified something called an unmarked road. And at the unmarked road is a gravel parking lot. And that gravel parking lot will be important for purposes of physical evidence that was located by investigators thereafter. Another view of the Debert Business Park, to give you a sense, this is aerial from the north down. Ventura Drive, Messina Drive, global construction location, the gravel parking lot described earlier, the unmarked road from Messina Drive locating and connecting the gravel parking lot. In the bottom right corner is the Debert Hospitality Center that we showed you earlier. And then the building identified now is McDonald's portable welding. And you'll note that it's geographically located closer to Ventura Drive and is between the gravel parking lot and Ventura Drive. So this gives you a pretty good orientation as to the Debert Business Park. Getting closer again, Messina Drive, you'll see the unmarked road and you will see the gravel parking lot. The information available to the Mass Casualty Commission is that the perpetrator spent the night or portions of the night, April 18th, April 19th, in this parking lot depicted in this slide. This slide will give you a ground level view of the unmarked road and the parking lot as described earlier. Now I wish to jump to 5:30 in the morning on April 19th. And that's because it's the next sort of discernible piece of important information for you in terms of trying to determine what took place. At 5:30 in the morning, we have video reversed from what we saw earlier, from Farmhouse Bakery at 5:42, video from Dave's Service Center at 5:45 approximately, and Angelina Pizzeria at 5:45 as well. This is a graphic of the reverse trail from 5:42. I'm going to show you now the video from Farmhouse Bakery.
Have I missed? Please help me, because you guys' memory is better than mine. I'm always driving. Have I missed the football field stuff? He's fast forwarding to 5:30. Where's the football field stuff? Is that coming up? Or is he just going straight to 5:30 and talking about? Because the football field stuff is the stuff I really want to talk about. I thought he talked about the football field and the kids that were observing it. RCMP searches in Debert, ammunition packaging. My apologies. No. He doesn't talk about it. He didn't talk about the teenagers. He talks about the kids towards the end. Like the end of the whole thing. Is it in part 2? Valerie Smith. Okay, one moment.
Dave's Service Center, an enterprise that's... And I'll try to explain that.
Shit. One moment. Technical. One moment. I recall it being
going through the Debert Business Park.
Okay, let's see if I can find it.
Messina Drive.
See you later, Nova
Messina
Scotia.
Drive, you can see here in relation to the large infrastructure, the hospitality center. Messina Drive is, as located in the graphic. Global construction, Maritimes, I identified earlier, is kind of caught with it.
He talks, anyways, I think those of you who saw it remember it through, you know. He spoke about the kids, the 2 kids who were out and about. It is demonstrative. Sadly, I don't have the where it is in the video lined up. But he talks about the kids and how this is, proof that, he must have been around because the kids were watching him go up and down the road and they were sitting there listening to music and all this stuff, right? Now, let's do a little bit of reading. Bear with me on my reading, please. So first we'll read Halifax Examiner, okay? 2 kids who were hanging out listening to music when they saw the man who had just killed 13 people in Portapique. Okay, again, that calls for conclusion, but fair enough. This picture, I have to update a picture of mine, but to represent that, but I will. Is what we're talking about. AG, 13 years old, and AJ, 15, were just 2 kids hanging around. On April 18th, 2020, the province was locked down due to coronavirus, and AG and AJ knew that they weren't supposed to be visiting with each other, but AJ walked over to AG's house, okay? Keeping all of these facts is important. House anyway, and then the pair walked to Debert Business Park to the football field. There's a stage there, sort of a shack, open on one side that's used for annual Debert Day celebrations, a typical hokey small town party that includes a blueberry supper, blah, 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 bouncy castles. Crucially for AG and AJ, the stage had power outlet that's never turned off. So on Saturday night, they could plug their devices in and listen to music. It was just a normal night with kids doing normal things. But then late at night, through the open door at the back of the stage, the boys saw a police car drive past them down Ventura Drive. Quote, and then he did a couple of laps, AG said. But there was some things off. There were like some things off, and he just wasn't acting like a police officer, because he was like going on the side of the road, kind of pulling off every like couple of meters, checking things out. And then we saw him go down, like in the base. I think he was just scoping out stuff. The boys were afraid that they were going to get busted for violating public health order to stay home. So they made their way home. AG says they walked to his house. AJ said they ran. Yes. Okay. Either way, AG saw the police car again. Quote, I saw him do a couple more laps, he said. He went down the road almost like, I think this is supposed to be like to the bunker, and then came back, and then we saw him go over there at the base. We saw him do a couple doing loops, came back down to the base, went up Ventura Drive, like do a couple more times, and then he was down, like waiting there for a little bit. He was driving really, really slow, so it was really, really weird. It was really weird. When the kids got to AG's apartment building on Plains Road, AG went inside and AJ continued on his own to his home nearby. AG's stepfather, Dave Brown, who was once a private investigator in Halifax, okay? So usually people who are private investigators have a background with something, usually, but not always. Brown was lying on his couch, watching TV, dozing off. When AG came in, Brown woke up. AG didn't mention the police car. Quote, when I opened my eyes, I got up. I said, well, I better go to bed. And I said, I'll have a smoke, said Brown. I went out on my balcony there, just opened up the door, was having my cigarette. I sort of looked over and I seen a looked like a police car. When you look out on my deck, continued Brown, on the right-hand side of the parking lot, there is a car park. There's, I believe, 4 or 5 cars parked right on the right-hand side of the parking lot. This car, ellipsis, so it's skipping through stuff. This car that I seen was sitting right behind the last car and the second last car to the edge of the road. That's where he was sitting too, on like, if these guys were to get out, they would have almost had to go, these guys would have had to almost get out and go over the lawn to back up around to get past him. He was close enough for that there. Brown noticed that there was a police car that had, quote, no lights, no nothing. But he didn't think much of it. He said RCMP cars come around from time to time, right? You know, it's like hospitals. People die. People drive down the road. There is movement on the streets. Loop through the business park. across the way and sometimes come to the parking lot, because sometimes you get the odd person around there right and then. And sometimes, and besides, quote, if you see an officer coming here, you don't think, like, I wonder if someone's with a mocked up car. Brown went to bed. The next morning, he woke up to a horrible unfolding news of the murders in Port Pick, and then that a friend of his wife was killed. Interesting. And then the news that the killer was driving a mocked up police car. And this is, I don't feel firmly established, but fair enough. Brian McDonald knew the killer. The man would come into McDonald's welding shop on Ventura to buy, restore, steal to his motorcycles. Okay, so I think I'm not going to read McDonald's stuff right now. Okay, so we'll just go over to CBC. We'll leave McDonald's stuff alone for a moment. We'll go over to CBC. Witnesses saw a poorly lit cruiser. The night Nova Scotia gunman hid in the industrial park. Again, this is calls for conclusion, but fair enough. 5 people reported seeing what appeared to be RCMP cruiser in Great Village, Debert. You guys can tell me that I'm nuts, but we'll see. A public inquiry's investigation over 6 nights over hours in Nova Scotia gunman who killed 22 people spent in an industrial park has revealed little beyond that 5 people later reported seeing what looked like an unusual police cruiser. After killing 13 neighbors in Portapique on April 18th, 2020, Gabriel Wortman drove about 30 kilometers to the rural community of Debert, Nova Scotia, before leaving at dawn, killing 9 more people, including a pregnant woman and an RCMP officer. Shooting and arson rampage. Okay. Now, on April 28th, RCMP revealed surveillance camera images. Thank you. I like the fact that we've got the mention of images, not video, of the gunman, even though Darren was telling you it was video, which clearly wasn't, of the gunman's replica cruiser entering the industrial park around 11:12 Saturday and leaving around 5:43 on Sunday at a press conference. At the time, police didn't provide any details what he did there. He was asked, right? We just all listened to that. And the 24th, they didn't have any idea. The owner of a welding shop located. Okay, so let's not deal with McDonald right now. Let's deal with the kids. Here we go. The records do illuminate what the gunman did overnight or why he was there. Some insights come from statements of 2 minors who are not named in the commission's report, who were hanging out listening to music near a football field off of Ventura Drive when they saw what appeared to be a police cruiser. They were hanging out in the football field when they saw what appeared to be a police cruiser driving in circles within the business park around midnight. Okay. Quote, there was some things off and he was just, okay. So he just scoping things out, same quotation mark, basically. The witness said he saw the vehicle drive towards the Debert Diefenbunker, a Cold War era bunker. Okay, got to have, see? Do you see what's going on here? Which the gunman reportedly drove by earlier in the day as well, right? That's why I think this is here as well, according to a statement his spouse gave to police. Quote, he was driving really, really slow, so it was really weird, the boy said. He also described what appeared to be a black push bar on the front of the vehicle. Roger Burrell, senior counsel for the commission, present on Wednesday, April 2020, the Nova Scotia RCMP had only 4 vehicles with push bars. Okay. Young people worried about getting in trouble. Second boy who spoke to police in early May 2020 said that he and his friend ran away because they were worried about getting in trouble for violating provincial COVID-19 lockdown. Stepdad of one of the boys also later told RCMP investigators that before he went to bed around 1 p.m., he saw what appeared to be a police cruiser parked on Plains Road near Ventura Drive, about 30 meters. Okay, 30 meters from the deck, really close. Some places have said 300 meters. The gunman returned to Plains Road the following morning. Okay, and is that it that we have basically from them? Okay, so this was getting basically the same stuff. The two miners hanging out there, listening to stuff. You got some COVID things thrown in there, and yeah, maybe it sounded like there was a bit of a discrepancy between whether ran, walked. Okay, so, not a big deal, right? Okay, so I went and I put the statements, I read them obviously, and I put them side by side. Let me just pull them up here. And then I kind of reviewed them. Actually, I read them on the phone to somebody, I think, who's here. And, I just made some observations. Now, I'm going to read both of these statements to you. Please don't mind my yellow stuff. Let's put this over here. Now, we'll go with the first statement, which was taken. Timing on all this is very important. I wish there was in my mind, I can see things, but it's more difficult to explain it. Okay. Transcript recorded. This is the first statement. AG, okay, stepson of former private investigator Dave Brown, who lives by the sounds of it, he lives just off of Plains Road in an apartment block. There's 4 buildings there approximately. Now, AG, May 2nd, 2020 at 11:34. Intermittent mouth sounds, coughing, throat clearing, intermittent rustling sounds, scribbling throughout intermittent media. I'm going to try and read it verbatim, even though it's tough to hear and tougher to read. Constable Burris, it's Constable Dale Burris, Constable Troy Allen, the major RCMP major crime. Today is the 2nd of May. 2020 is currently 11:34. We're here with AG. Is that right, AG? AG. Yeah, Constable Burris. AG, as you know, we are investigators. We're investigators working on the mass murders that took place in East Highlands, Colchester counties, April 18, 19 of this year. And through our investigation, we learned that you may have seen some things in the Debert area. What I'd like you to do is go back to the time, AG, that I believe was April 18, 19, that you did see something. I want you to go back to that time. I want you to go back to, I guess, early in that evening and tell me everything that you did. Every little detail matters. Don't leave anything out. AG responds, okay, I started out, I went and met my friend AJ down the road. And then we kind of just hung out at his place for a little bit. Then, because we usually go up to the football field by the, this is common, I'm sure all of you who have read this stuff, where they just put this hyphen, and it's not complete, don't know what's going on. It's called the stage. Like sometimes they do that for Debert days. So that thing, so we'd go there and we'd like just listen to music because there's like power there and stuff. And then, so we decided to do that like around 7:38. Okay. And then we're just hanging out there. And then once it was like 12:30, almost 1, we saw a patrol car come down like Ventura Drive. And then he kind of did a couple of laps and didn't look like actual. It did, but it was doing some things off, and he just wasn't acting like a police officer. Because he was like going down on the side of the road, kind of pulling off every like couple of meters, checking things out. And then we saw him go down like in the base. I think he was just scoping things out. And after that, I started to walk home because it was getting late. And I saw him do a couple more laps. Then I just decided to come inside and get ready for bed. I went to bed, and then I heard my parents talking what happened, because my aunt was on the line, and she'd heard the police officers in like a big old like parade of police officers go down the road chasing one guy going like 200. And so my mom was freaking out. And then I didn't get to sleep that night. And then all this happened. So, the conversation is going on. His mom knows about all of this stuff. They know somebody down there, it sounds like. And it was going on in the evening after he'd gotten home. And he couldn't go to sleep. This unrolled. And we basically just had a lookout just in case we saw him and call the police, and that's basically it. Okay, anything else? Not really. Okay, first you talked about your friend AJ. Tell me about AJ. AJ is from Dartmouth. Okay, yeah, he lives down in the base. I can't remember what road, but we hang out quite often. Okay, he's like 2 years older than me, so he's like 15. Okay, so now we know that this AG is probably about 13. Okay. Do you want me to give a description of what he looks like? Constable Burris, his name and how to get a hold of him, maybe. I don't know his phone number off. You don't have to. We'll get it after. Okay, after the recording, but you can tell us who he is. Yes, he's like my best friend. We do a lot together. His grandmother works at or used to work at the prison. He lives just down there with his grandmother sometimes. Only part-time, nothing really else. His last name, though, AJ Fenech. It's a very French name. Chuckles, you think? Something like that, yeah. Okay. And you have his number on your phone. Okay. So I want you to go back to around 12. I assume that's 12 in the morning, right? Or midnight? Yeah. I want you to go back to that time and tell me everything that you did, everything that you saw, everything that you did from 12 until you walked in the door of your house here. Okay. Every detail matters. We were just listening to music. We were hanging out because there was a door. The stage is like open on the front, and there's a little door, like a little entrance with a ramp. And there's benches there. So we were looking out the door. And so then like 12:30 comes around, and we see the first, like him first go down. It looked like something was hanging off the back of his car. Okay. I don't know if that's of any help, but he went down the road almost like to the bunker, and then he came back, and we saw him go over to the base. We could see him doing a couple of laps. came back down from the base, went up Ventura Drive 2 more times. And then he was back down there waiting for a bit. And he was driving really, really slow. So it was really weird. Then we started to like walk home because AJ walked me home. The dark. Okay, so I have a lot of questions about these ellipses because that's usually indicative of leaving things out, but fair enough. So then we saw him like one more time going back down and then back up, and then I went home, and that's basically it. So describe the police car that you saw to me. Every little detail matters. It was white. Okay. It had almost like a pine branch hanging out of the trunk. A pine branch hanging out of the trunk. Okay, so a question mark is in my head is, how does a pine branch get into your trunk? But anyway, okay. It had like the lights on top. Okay. It was dark, so I didn't really see the stickers. But it was like a Ford, the same one as the Cruisers. The bumper was a little dented. Dented. That's all I remember when it drove by. Okay. Now, I could be wrong, but I think Tauruses have plastic bumper covers. They're not metal bumpers. I'm not sure how you get a dent. Now, I'm not accusing anybody. This is just observations. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe from all of the Tauruses I've seen, they are plastic bumper covers. So doesn't really dent so much as it cracks and you can get a hole in it. But okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you can close tree in the trunk. That would be the only way I could see that happening. It's not like you drive down a road and get a tree behind you in the trunk, because I certainly have driven down a lot of country roads. And you drive over the tree folds underneath you, and because I'm kind of lazy like that, I don't really cut down roads so much, and they pop back up when they go back out, but they certainly don't end up enclosed into your trunk. Anyway, the bumper was a little dented, but that's all I remember when it drove by in the dark. Okay. I didn't see the people in the car, but I didn't see usually how they, like the computers and stuff like that. I didn't see any of that. But it did have lights and stuff on the tops. I didn't get to see, like, how there is the serial number or whatever for the thing. I didn't see that. It just looked like a normal cruiser. He didn't have any of that hat. He didn't have any of the hat. He didn't have a hat on. And that's basically all I remember. Okay, so you described it as having lights. Tell me about any other equipment that you noticed on the vehicle. Like the bumper thing. Okay, the bumper thing. Tell me about what you mean by that. Well, like not a bash bar. What's that called? Like the black thing that they put on the front of the car. Some of them have. He had that. I sort of did see that. Like, I didn't see any of the stickers, really. I couldn't tell you what they were, but I saw that they were kind of reflecting. So I kind of see the colors. Okay, describe that to me. It was like red and yellow, sort of colors, and there's a little bit of blue. And that's the details I remember about the car. Okay. You also mentioned that there was damage to the bumper. Tell me about that. Everything about that. Just like a little dent. I don't know. I only know that because he drove past us. Okay. Describe where on the vehicle that was. It was on the back right. Okay. Back right. Okay. That's all I really remember about the car. Okay. Describe the person that was driving the vehicle. It was definitely a male. Okay. Taller. Missing something there. And he had the outfit on, but not the hat. Okay. I didn't really see his face. Okay. It was dark out. Describe the outfit to me. You're saying an outfit. It was bulky. It didn't really look like a jacket. It had like, it might have been a badge, but it was something sort of shiny. It was like shiny sort of. And it was black, his outfit. In the dark, just picturing yourself here, okay? And maybe I should show what you're looking at, essentially. A couple of images I want to show. If it'll load. I believe I still have this one. Did I bring it in here? Shit. Oh, yes. Okay. So I do have to make an adjustment to this picture because the line of sight is different because of the side, somewhat on this building, because the side is missing. But if you look out the back of the door, which is just a door, I did have the video queued up, interestingly enough, but I probably don't now. But this would be your line of sight from there, from this building. So you can see over to Farmhouse Bakery, and you can basically see down to, in this direction. But when it comes to where the base is, etc., it's quite far away. And again, this is dark at night, right? Like those video cameras and stuff like that all has infrared on it. So I mean, whatever. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything. It's just things I've noticed. All right, so let's get back to something like shiny, sort of. It was black, his outfit, and like it was a little gold thing right here. Constable burst. Just so the recorder does pick that up here. You're showing your left. You're pointing to the left side of your chest where this gold was. That's a yes. Again, for the recorder, won't pick up you're nodding your head. That's all. A yes. Okay, so this person's wearing a badge. The last I'm familiar with, the RCMP don't wear badges, but fair enough. Okay, and describe to me again where you saw that vehicle. You described it going by the bunker. Tell me that. The bunker is everything about that. Okay, there's Ventura Drive down here. Okay, it's just a straight road. It goes all the way down to the airport. Okay, and there's an old military bunker down there that they turned into laser tag and stuff. Okay, and there's a little turn around here. And he did a couple of laps, and he came back down and went back up, and then then he did over the base a little bit, and it's kind of all loopy. So he kind of just did all of the little roads. Okay, so describe to me where those roads are. It's base super blocked in, so you can't go in. So you can go in, and there is a road, and then they change on to, like, there's different little roads that people live on. Okay, now I think he's talking about Dieppe and all that across the way, which I guess you could see out the front of the stage there. And there's only like 7 roads or something like that. And he was doing them all. And then, yeah, there's another little road that comes out over here and then goes back down to around Ventura Drive. And there's another road behind it, like the main road. And that's all I really know. And you've mentioned a bunch of different times, especially between 12:30 and 1. Tell me how many times that tell me how you know what time it was. I had my phone on me. And tell me when you last saw that vehicle, where it was, and what it was doing. I was on my way home, I was going right out back there, and I saw him do one more lap around, or like in the base, and then I went inside. Now, he's walking with his back towards the base because he lives over on Plains Road. Okay, so describe where the vehicle was. So the base is behind him. I guess he turned around. He must have been watching him or something of this nature. Perhaps he saw him. You couldn't see that from Plains Road. No way. Describe where the vehicle was when the last time you saw it. What? Everything about it. The football field is right here. And then there's like a road, and then there's a fence. I saw him coming around that corner on the road. Okay, tell me about when that was. It like 1 o'clock. Okay, and tell me, was AJ was with you at that time? Okay, AJ got his grandmother to come pick him up at my house. Please, noting these things. Is there anything else that, and you described what you said was like a tree branch hanging out of the back of the vehicle. Describe exactly what you saw. It was like, that was the first time we saw it. I kind of take a second look. Okay. Now, again, remember the proximity. Like a tree branch hanging out of a trunk at night in the dark. And this is the kind of distance that we're talking about. This is the building right here. Okay. And this is the road. Okay. These are different views from, I went back, which is unfortunate, I don't have that video lined up right now. It's probably lined up on a different tab. This is what you would see. This is the across the street. The house across the street from Farmhouse Bakery. Okay. That's when the door comes into line of sight. They are sitting inside. Okay. So line of sight is somewhat limited. It's cold outside. The door is open. This is the other side. This is the first time that you can see this building. Again, How much can you see from inside the building and for how long? Can they see down to the base? No, they can't, would be what I would maintain. Continuing on. It was the first time we saw it. I kind of take a second look because obviously I knew it was a police cruiser, but it had driving by and it was like a pine branch and it was dragging against the ground. And that's what it looked like, at least. And he didn't have it the second time, so I don't know. So you say it didn't have it the second time? Tell me what you mean by that. Well, I'm pretty sure he went down there and stopped and got out. So he must have saw that and took it out. I'm pretty sure he got out and stopped and got out. Okay. So you say he stopped and took it off. Tell me about what you know. Well, because he didn't have it, I'm assuming. Okay. I don't know for sure. Okay. And you've talked about the time being between about 12:30 and 1. Tell me what day it was. What day that was. 12, so the 19th. Okay, is there anything AG hasn't, that I haven't asked you about, what you saw that day, that morning, that you would be important for us to know? Not really. Tell me about any other observations or anything else, like outside of the police car that you made that night. Nothing really. It was just, I just saw the car. Okay. Anything, Troy? Yeah. So on Ventura Drive is right here, and that road goes all the way down to the airport. Yeah. It's like there's parking for some of the, what it's called, military, like the kids who fly gliders. There's a parking lot down there, and that's where they park buses. So where's this stage that you were talking about relative to Ventura Drive? Okay, Ventura Drive, you go down that, yeah, and there's a football field, yeah, and there's like a little tiny, like, not shack, it's got like a wide open front, and it has a little walk in the back, and they use it for like events, yeah, like for events, for music and stuff. And that's where you were the first time you saw the police car? Yes. And so when you were at the stage, we'll call it, yeah, where was the police car, on what street? Ventura Drive. We could see Ventura Drive. From out the back, back entrance. Yes. And you told me that the police car went down, and like, how far did you see it go down? We saw it go down to the end, like the turnaround. Now, I'm not sure. You'd have to be outside, and I don't even think from there, because it's quite distance. I don't know if my Google Earth has come up or not. But when I've actually watched that driven, it's hard. You cannot see the red building. So if the person who's filming it from the car can't see the red building, that means people in the red building most certainly cannot see you. They would only be able to see you from when the corner of the door. Do you follow? Line of sight? And I'm being generous when I'm putting those lines of sight. Yeah. And then it came back up. Okay, then it paused over there for a bit. And then where did it go? Back down. Then in the base, which is down at the end. So where's the base? I don't know. We don't know the area. So where's the base in relation to where the police car was on Ventura? Okay, Ventura Drive goes like this, and then there's Acadia Boulevard, I think it's called. Okay, and then there's Dieppe Avenue. Yeah, the first road onto the base. Okay, then there's Dieppe. I think he's going to say back. And then Dieppe Avenue turns into Passchendaele. Yeah. Passchendaele comes back through here. And there's lots of side roads. Yeah. And then there's townhouses over here. I didn't see him go anywhere near the townhouses. And that's, yeah. So he's going down Ventura. You say he goes down and he turns around and comes back, and then he goes off Ventura, goes to the base and to one of the side roads. Yeah. And you can see him. Did you see that? I saw him turn. Yeah. And then we couldn't see him anymore because it's like blocked by a tree. Yeah. So, yeah. And how long until you saw him the next time? When he came back around back onto Ventura, same way he went. Yeah. And how long was that? Like from the time that you saw him go towards the base until the time that you saw him come back. How long did that take? Like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay. And then he's back on Ventura, and you say he does a couple of laps. What do you mean by that? What, like he came, like he went back down and then he passed us. We were walking home. Where were you walking? To my house. No, but on Ventura, And then then he went down to the base again, and we went back up, went back up, and then passed us again. And right as I was getting to the door down here, I saw him go back into the base. That was the last time I saw him. Now, let's see if my Google Earth pulled up. Finally, probably didn't. I have issues. No, see, it won't. Fuck. Let me see. I'll try this one. Try that. Leave it loading over here. See if this one will load. And I was getting to the door down here. I saw him going back onto the base. That was the last time I saw him. So off Ventura, back towards the base. And so when he passes you, what side of the road are you walking on? The left. So you're probably walking towards your house on Ventura, and you pass on the left-hand side of the road, and then which would be the north probably, and you're walking, he passes you. So which side did he pass you on? The right. Okay. So if he passed him on the right, on the right. So tell me everything that you saw when he passed you, noticing passed until the time he was gone. It looked like a white car at first, but then I realized it was the same car that we saw with the light bar and the stickers. But there was no pine tree thing on it at all. Okay, the pine tree is in the trunk. So, I mean, I guess he's turning around washing. And so he passed you. Where did he go after he passed you? Turn back down on the side road, goes up Dieppe Avenue. Okay, all right. That clarifies it for me. So if you don't have anything else to add, AG, I'll turn off the recording. No, I know nothing else. Okay, it's 11:53, end of recording. Now, that is the 13-year-old boy's statement, right, on the 2nd. Now we can either we'll listen to his friends, which takes place later. Now I want you to see if you hear the same sort of thing that both the media is depicted and that AG said from AJ, okay? And I don't like to point fingers because that's not my deal. Transcript or recorded statement AJ taken on May 11th. So I think this is 9 days later. Constable Troy Allen. Same interviewer. Same officer. Alan, all right, I see that is now recording. So this is Constable Troy Allen with the RCMP Major Crime Unit. Today is the 11th day of May, 2020. Time right now is 3:28 in the afternoon, and I'm speaking on the phone with AJ. And AJ is here to provide witness statement in relation to the investigation that is going in relation to a shooting that took place, started in April 1819. And AJ and his friend were in Debert on the night of the 18th into the 19th. So AJ, I want you to take me back to the night that I want you to tell me everything about that night from the time that you first started, hooked up with AG there until you went home and went to bed. I want you to use as much detail as possible because everything important. Okay. All right. Go ahead. So probably AG probably got AG because I sleep until like 3 o'clock. I probably picked AG up around 4 or 5. Picked him up from 4 or 5. Went to the Debert over to the football field in Debert area. Now I do recall that they hung out at the other boy's house, I think it was, and it wasn't until 7:30. So kind of different. We went on to the football field, and there's a little stage, and we were just sitting there. We listened to music and stuff, and we were just hanging out. The night goes on, and it comes to be around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and AG has to go home. So I believe the time was like 11:30. I started walking him home, and we get towards the road. When we cross the street, we turn around, and we were like, oh, shoot, there's an RCMP officer. Okay, so he's now on Plains Road, like literally outside of this other boy's apartment block. As we turned around, AG ran in. I walked away from AG's house, and I ran all the way home. But like I didn't get home till maybe 11:35. And after that, well, the rest of it, you pretty much know. I just slept. I woke up. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take you back now. You told me that you and AG, you were hanging out that evening, and you were at the football field. There's a stage you mentioned. Tell me about everything about that, the setup there. There's like park benches. There's like 3 park benches, maybe 4. 2 like garbage bonfire kind of pit thingies, and sandbag and those sort of things, like the Debert inaudible stuff, like signs, and it has lights and power. So that's why we go there. Yeah, that's all really. That's all that's really there. Okay. It has open, inaudible, and a little door thing. So tell me about the first time you saw the police car, and use as much detail as possible, and tell me everything about that. Well, we see the police car, and we were basically just halfway through, like we were crossing, he was coming down, we see the police car, he looked exactly like a replica of an RCMP car, couldn't tell the difference. Okay, so if you can't tell the difference, is it a police car? I don't know. So I turned around and ran away. But like he basically just drove by us without noticing us, luckily. Okay, where did this happen? AG's apartment buildings, like there's grass behind the building near his door. It was like across there. So what road, where were you walking on? I'm not even sure of it. It's the main road. Okay, so the main road, of course, is Plains Road, not Ventura. Like, I can't even remember the name of the road, but all I know is it's the road that connects you from like Onslow up. Okay, so that's Plains Road. Okay, all right. So describe the person in the car. I couldn't see him too well. It was dark. Okay, well, tell me what you can. All I see is a man looking like inaudible. He looks like a man. It was a figure. And that's all I really seen. I just see a man wearing an RCMP outfit. Okay, and you told me that. You tell me which way where the car was traveling. I was going down towards, like, it was down towards the road, towards the stage. Like it was about to turn. It was going down towards the stage. So they're already gone away from the stage, right? On the way home, was about to go into the stage way, like towards the stage. So I think it's on Plains Road, not on Ventura. Okay, and you told me when you saw the police car, you took off running. And where did you run? Tell me about that. I ran, well, because it wasn't a good idea for people to be hanging around with each other and you could get a big fine and stuff. And I was trying to get away from AG as soon as possible, as soon as I could, so I couldn't get a fine. This makes sense, right? I mean, it's in the middle of COVID. People are getting fines. They're younger. You're out late at night. Even if it was no COVID, police are usually like hooligans. Yep. And so that's why I mainly ran. Yeah, okay. But yeah. And anything else about that? No, not really. No. All I know is it's pretty scary knowing that the day after, me and AG possibly could have died. Yeah. Did you see the police car before it was driving on the road when you were walking home? Did I see it before? Yeah. Was that the first time that you saw it? That was the first time I saw it, and only. Like, as soon as I turned around after AG went in, like, I turned around and I went home. I didn't see him after that. He was basically vanished. How'd you get home? I walked. Okay. How far is it there from your place to your grandmother's? About 5 minutes, maybe 6. Yeah. Depends on how fast you're going. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't think I have any more questions for you, AJ. Is there anything else you'd like to add? No. Okay. I've said everything. All right. I'm going to shut down the recorder now. Sure, shut the recorder off now. I believe it, and it's now 3:34. End of recording. Now, I don't hear the same thing at all. And frankly, I can't understand how the media reads those two statements. And all that they got out of there that was different was one boy said they ran and one boy said that they walked. And a bunch of stuff about COVID. I don't hear anything the same at all. In fact, if I was that investigator, I would be like, well, these don't seem to be the same. Different people see different things. This is true. But the one boy saying, we saw him go up and down the road. He said we. So that means that they've discussed it. We saw him go up and down the road. He was going into the base. I could see a badge. I could see the stickers. I could see the tree, the dent. Like, why is it that his friend is with him? Yes, eyewitnesses are different, but his friend is with him and sees nothing. Times are totally different. Number of times seeing it, where they saw it. What you could see from that in the dark, if somebody wants to go up there and film it, do it. And have another person drive by. I don't think you're going to see very much of anything. You can see to the north of that, that's the open side part, up towards Plains Road, not down towards the base. It seems very different stories. Now, we'll listen to, but again, I don't want to say anything negative about somebody else. Now, let's listen to stepfather Dave Brown's statement, because that's kind of interesting too. This is 3 of the 5 witnesses, right? So now up to 3. I haven't even gone through the other 2 yet. Where is that here? Oh, come on. Oh, God, that's the wrong one. There's so many statements open. One moment, please. Wow. It really does amaze me how much stuff I have open at any given time. Oh, balls. Have to let it scroll. That's what I got to do. Because there's a few statements in here. All right, well, screw it. I'm going to just find it again. Mass casualty commission documents, foundational documents. Brown. Statement from Dave Brown. Okay. All right. Statement of David Brown taken on May 2nd, same day. Okay. I think his statement is his statement taken first? I think so. Constable Allen, same constable. Turn that on, and I see that it's recording. This is Constable Troy Allen and Dale Burris of the major RCMP major crime. This is the 2nd day of May, 2020. Time right now is 11:56 in the morning, and with us is Dave Brown. Dave Brown? David Brown? Yes. Do you go by Dave? Dave, okay. Dave is here to provide a statement in relation to the events of what happened throughout Colchester County back on April 18th and 19th. And so, Dave, I want you to go back to, I wish you to go back to the time, at the time. I want you to begin wherever you like. And I'd like you to tell me everything about that night, and I want you to use as much detail as possible because everything's important. And take your time to begin whenever you want. Oh, fuck, I can't see this stuff. Bollocks. My eyesight is shite. Oh, come on. Whatever, fine. I guess I can do this. It doesn't really work that great, though. Okay. Certainly. That is, like you said, a little detail could be anything. Yeah. But the only thing I can remember is that when AG arrived home, I believe he said that he got in the house at 12:30 or so. I was watching TV. I believe he said he got in the house at 12:30 or so. And I was laying on the couch, and he got himself ready and went off to bed. And I sort of dozed off for a little bit on the couch watching a movie. Time to time, I do that. And when I woke up or when I opened my eyes, I got up and I said, well, I better get into bed. And I said, I'll have a smoke. I went out. I went out on the balcony there, just opened up my door, and I was having a cigarette. And I sort of looked over, and I looked on what I see. I looked over, and I seen looked to me a police car. Which is not strange. Every now and then you see them coming around the loop here, and just looked around and see, well, is he doing something, or is he? Because sometimes you get the odd person around there, yeah, right then. So I looked and I didn't see no one out there. The car wasn't going. It wasn't started. It was lights off everywhere, and I finished up my cigarette and put it out. I still never seen no one walking around. I never seen an officer walk. So I thought he might have been in the building or whatever. And never really thought too much more, never thought no more of it than that. I finished my cigarette, shut the door, and I went over and locked our door, shut the balcony door, and went off to bed. And when I woke up the next morning, same as I do every morning, have our breakfast and had my coffee and my cigarette, and I heard helicopters outside. And that outside. I woke up around 8:30, and I heard a helicopter outside, and I thought it might have just been a gentleman across the way there with his helicopter. Out and around, and I was probably about half an hour after that when there's reports of what's been happening down there in Port-a-Pic. I thought his wife and he talked about that. Anyway, okay. And Megan, she's the one that told me, and she got the news about it from her coworker, about her coworker was killed. Oh, okay. Right. And that's when we were like, oh, wow. What happened? What just happened here? And then we were getting reports that he's on the move. And so I called a couple of friends of mine around here telling them, stay in, shut your door. This is what's going on. And I used to be a private investigator in Halifax for 10 years with Metro Halifax Regional Protection. So, I sort of when you read that kind of instinct kind of kicks in, and you call everybody lock your doors, stay in, stay the hell in, and and all is this is just you hear what went on, and it's just horrific, and that's pretty much it, and everything else was just everybody knows what happened, right? It's all right. It's unreal. It's unreal. Yeah. I have no words for what happened. No. From what I've seen, just for that little bit, I know this is not much, and I hope it does help, but that is just only what I've seen. Like I said, I don't know if he was just sitting in the car, or if it was it might have been a police officer, for all I know. I don't know. But so is in the and like I said, you don't pay much attention to it once you see it all the time. Not at all, not all the time, but if you see an officer coming here, you don't think, or you don't think, I wonder if that's somebody with a mocked up car. Yeah, you know, but no, I didn't see. I did. The car was off and there were no lights on, no running lights, headlights, no brake lights. It was like the car was stopped there, and either he was inside sitting there quietly or he was out on the move. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much what I seen, what I remember. And I can't remember what time it was exactly, what time it was that I got up and went to the door. I guess it might have been, it probably after 1. So Sunday morning. And why do you say that? Like after 1? Like, what are you using for reference? When AG came home. And he went to bed. And I was still watching a show on TV, and I was sort of, in and out of dozing out there. And I was all of a sudden, I got up, I had my cigarette, went to bed. I says, time to go to bed. So when you went out on the deck, I want you to tell me everything about that. The car that you saw, I want you to be like, I can tell you exactly where he was sitting too. It's like, it's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay, so you have to, again, put yourself into the person's shoes. So this person lives on a balcony. They're looking down onto a vehicle, right? His answers will be somewhat representative of that. They want him to say more. Exactly. He was sitting too. That's exactly that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay. When you look out my deck on the right-hand side of the parking lot, there's a car park. There's, I believe it's like 4 or 5 cars parked right on the right-hand side of the parking lot. He was sat behind this car that I seen was sitting right behind the last car and second last car to the edge of the road. And that's where he was sitting too, on, like, if these guys wanted to get out, they would have almost had to go over the lawn to back up around to get past him. He was close enough for that there. But not, right up against them. Yeah. Or nothing like that. But that's where he was sitting too. A little over, I would say halfway to where the drive runs in. So that's where he was sitting too. And yeah, that's right there. That's where I seen his car. And like I said, there was no lights, no nothing on. Tell me everything about the car. And again, use as much detail as possible. It, from up above here, it looked just like an RCMP car. Right? The light bar on top. That's pretty much all I remember, that it looked like an RCMP car. It looked like a cop car. And so what makes you think, like, what tells you that it's a police car or other than any other car? Because of the police, that bar that's on top, and then it looked like the same model as a police car. Was there any writing on it or anything? Describe the writing on it, please. Describe the writing that was on it. I really didn't look at it to see if there was any writing on it, but just see the bar on top. Yeah. And the stripes. Tell me about that. Just on the rear end. Yeah. Looked like stripes on the ass end of it, like, yeah, you see on an RCMP car. Yeah. I don't remember seeing an antenna. Right? Big fat antenna. 28B11. Like you usually got an antenna or something on the back, but I don't, like I said, you guys, I give it a quick look, and that's pretty much all I did. There's no, it's not a police car, and it looked around to see what I could find, like to see if I could see anybody, an officer walking around. Was there someone causing shit I don't know about? You know, tell me about everything you see inside of the police car. Again, he's looking down on top of a car. Kind of like walls. I wouldn't have a clue. And that's because I was up here and I didn't go downstairs. You couldn't see inside from up there. I couldn't see inside from up there, no. Can you tell me about the occupants of the car? Did he just finish saying you couldn't see in the car? No, I couldn't see the driver or driver's seat or anything like that. I was up above, I was just, I couldn't I never, like you said, I had never went down. I was just having my cigarette up there. That was it. And then you told me that you came in and we went to bed. I just shut my door, dabbed my cigarette. I like that saying. I'm going to have to borrow that from Mr. Brown. Out there and shut the door and went to bed. Anything else, Dale? So tell me, just to get a better idea, where that vehicle was. Any other observations that you would have made? Anything else in the area? No, I can't. Not at that time. It was just, there wasn't no one out and around, I don't think. Yeah, I don't even remember seeing a car go up the road, or, it was just, I was only out there for like 5 minutes. Not even like 5 minutes. Because I only had a couple, I had about half a smoke. I duffed it. I like that too. Went to bed. So I wasn't out there all that long. Describe to me the distance, the weather conditions, the lighting conditions. Tell me everything about it. That when you see this vehicle, I can't remember if it was wet or cold or warm or it was just night. I can't think of what it was like that night. Like, if it was warm or cold or wet, or I didn't pay attention to it, I guess. I just would, really, I guess I do it every day, except 100 times a day. I've, not 100, but you got out there a dozen times a day, have a cigarette, right? And describe to me the visibility. Oh, well, it was clear right around there. Okay. It wasn't foggy or nothing, but we do have lights on our building that comes on. But they're old. They're really old, but they're really old lights. I'm presuming the AI is just dumb. Here, AI is so smart. So you don't get to see a whole lot down there. And so tell me about how far away that vehicle would have been parked from your porch. Well, 30 feet away. Okay. To the end of the driveway from here, I'm assuming 34. No, it would be 40 feet, 40 to the road, I could figure. You wouldn't mind if we had a look. Oh, no, you go straight ahead. Yes. Yeah, by all means. Anything else about the car? I know you noticed the striping on the back of the vehicle, the light bar on top. Tell me any other observations that you made of the vehicle. That's pretty much it. I just, you look, you see it. Okay. It's a police officer's car. And sometimes when we remember things, Mr. Brown, we use all of our senses, right? Our hearing, our sense of smell, our sense of touch, anything like that. Tell me, like, keeping in mind any observations you would have made whether that vehicle was around, when that vehicle was around. No, not really. Okay, that's good. Anything else you'd like to talk about or tell us about that event? Anything you didn't talk about that you think is important? No, nothing I can think of. You know, that's pretty much all I can remember was the just like the police car was sitting there. I have no information on anything else. What's going on? I stayed the hell in my car. In my house. Till after it was done. I don't understand what AI is doing over here with the car, but anyway. And that's about yeah, that's I have nothing else myself. Okay, because AG never mentioned nothing about nothing until we found out that, like you said, police, you see officers going up and down the road here from time to time anyway. And and it wasn't until there just the other day when we said that he was over there all night long, and then it hit us. It was like, really? And then AG said he's seen a police officer going down there, and then the other car going down there, and then I said, and then the other car going down there, and then I said that might have just been the police officer going down, and then that. So his mother and I, we spoke of it for a second, and since he's seen that you guys are still looking for it, every bit of information, so I said, well, we can just call. We'll just call, let them know what we seen. And y'all, I know I didn't see much. I don't know if that helps at all, but I hope every little bit helps information. Like you said, it could be anything. Yeah. Just one more thing. On the morning of Sunday morning, being April 19th, there were two victims located just down the road here on Plains Road. Yes. Tell me about did you make any observations? Tell me about any observations that you might have made in relation to that Sunday morning. Well, like I said, I was out on the balcony. I had a cigarette, and I seen the helicopter in the air. I had seen a couple black, I know. That was probably the police RCMP in their unmarked some trucks. That's that I seen. A couple of white trucks going by, and I heard some of them saying that it was that he could be over here in the field. And so I just got everybody from the window. I just sort of stood back, keeping an eye on the tree lines around here, along the track, what I can see, any movement at all. Say, if you see somebody, call it in. That, that's other than that, we stayed inside. So that's the only observations that I seen. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to shut the recorder off now. It's 12:10. I don't know. Okay. So that's one piece to it. So 5 witnesses. I'm not sure how. It's very different than the news media articles, I would say. And Mr. Burris, as I recall, kind of just said, oh, these kids, they saw it, they saw everything. And I'm like, well, one child seems to have seen something. The other one said he saw nothing. It wasn't that he just didn't even see anything. totally different descriptions. One's 13, one's 15. And the stepfather's description, he didn't really have anything. They were trying to push him to say something. And he was sleeping. He doesn't even know what time his son arrived home. And the one boy's statement, grandmother's boy, AG, I think that's AJ, he didn't even indicate whether that the original guy was outside when that happened. He's like, he ran in. So I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. Now let's look at some other stuff. Because 24 to 28, there were some other interesting things that happened. Thank you for bearing with me with my reading. I do want to read more statements, but they're hard to read, I'm sure, as you know, and I'm not the best reader. Now, where are we at here? Right. So if we look at the how the videos came about. Okay, video canvas report. Video canvas report, Angelina's. And it seemed to say that from what information that they gathered, that they originally questioned AG. So what led them to AG, or was it just that they phoned in? I don't know. And of course, everybody wants to help. Farmhouse Bakery. Okay. And video canvas, Dave's. Angelina's Pizzeria, to which we never got footage originally, right? We kind of were off because of the fuzziness of the UFO picture, and we did actually think it was from around there, from Angelina's, but it wasn't. It was from the bakery, because it's very high quality, don't you know? Even through all the great investigative people that were working on it. Facing Plains and Masstown Road. Okay, so it says 110816 suspect. Masstown Road turns right onto Plains Road. Not sure again how you're determining that it's the suspect necessarily, especially if people's GPS and etc. was off. Difficult. Then at 5:45, drives west on Plains Road. And then at 9:56, drives fast on Plains Road into Debert. I'm looking forward to this one. It should be an interesting one. I know that's yet to come. I didn't even really want to talk about this, and just because I'm waiting, but okay. Date of seizure, 2020, May 2nd. Same day as the interview. At 11:50. Corporal DeVoe. Time captured. So you have to put in 2020, April 19th, etc. This would be an example, right? Because it's dated right here, because they're looking for the April 19th, 8 until 12. What's going on from 8 until 12. Pretty specific. But I guess they're backtracking a little bit. Now we're into earlier and actually into the 18th. So, okay, fair enough. 20th April 19th, 8 till 12. 3 small clips. Okay, but he did spell it out here. Number of camera angles downloaded, 1. Type of system used, Lorax, Nest, cloud-based, etc. Now, this is important because we can tell whether something is connected to the internet or not. VLC is a player. You can hook your cameras up to a VLC player. But it's definitely connected from the internet. Video player attached. Yes. Time is exact. Okay. All right. Now we'll go to Farmhouse Bakery. Farmhouse Bakery, Ventura Drive. Ventura Drive. Time and date of seizure, April 27th. April 27th. So remember, the 24th, they didn't know what the hell was going on, but the 28th, they did. Certainly knew. Constable McFarland. April 19th, time frame captured, April 19th. Now, I don't know if my eyes are just bad. Please help me. It says April 19th at 11:04. Even with the time problem that they have with the clock, which is what? I can't remember exactly how many minutes it is. I'm not sure 11:04 in the morning on the 19th really has anything to do with the 5 o'clock and in the evening prior. Could just be me. But this seems like 11 o'clock in the morning, April 19th. Not April 18. Number of angles downloaded. 1. But there were 2. 2 camera angles downloaded. Because we have the straight on shot that looks across to the senior's home across the street. And we have the one that looks off to the side where you can see the power box and all that stuff and a little bit more, and down the street. And that is the car wash, etc., across the street. Different camera angle. Type of system used. Oh, blank. Because, that might tell you whether it was connected to the internet IP. Automatic detecting time. Seemingly absent. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just bad paperwork. McFarland, I believe, is fairly old school. He's been in for a while. Note comparison timestamp on the video, actually 9:45. System at 1:47. System time is 1:13:18. And then Woolcock approved it. Okay, so we're 27th, the day before the press conference, right? Why did that one not open up? So we've got Dave's. Dave's is the last one, right? I don't know why it didn't open. Dave's Service Center. Okay, facing Plains Road. Coverage description. 2020, April 18th at 11:09:20 p.m. east on Plains Road. Okay, so again, my question would be, where is the other one? Because here we go with the 2 camera angles. And we don't have any mention of this one, a 9:57 the next day. That seems to be missing. Only the one from the night prior, 11:09. The one with the corner. Though this angle, funnily enough, you could see a lot. They did use it, though, in their press conference. However, in his to obtain order, it's not listed. It just talks about the nighttime. Date of seizure, time and date of seizure. 10/16. Well, that's specific. Time frame captured 2020, April 18th, 2200s beyond. So I suppose, they could have just watched it and then found it later. I guess. We don't know even when they took this. They obviously had it for their conference the next day. Okay. VLC time is accurate. Interesting anomalies with the paperwork, I would say. Raises more questions between these interviews and the acquisition of video. I don't know if it's cut and dry like Mr. Burrow represented. I know he wasn't certain of it, though I guess he told us that we all should be, right? Where is this camera angle from the night before? Where is that? Because if you go to Google Earth, you can tell. It's looking straight across the street. And the other camera looks off to down the road. Okay. Now, the mention of Mr. McDonald. I'm not going to get into that too much right now. But Mr. McDonald's stuff, he went for the walk on the 26th, right? He had a feeling. He, in fact, said that he had been wandering around for a while. He hadn't seen anything. And then that day, the 26th, a week later, he found a boot and, car parts from under the steering wheel, because I'm sure that that's what you do. You do mechanics, right? And a light bar and a coat hanger and a piece of gauze with some blood on it, which I don't know if it was tested for DNA, and a Sam Brown belt. The boot with Wortman's name in it. When Chris said, yeah, no, I gave him my stuff. Again, the high browns, how do they fit? They really are, from what I'm told, they don't fit. They don't even fit the person who owns them. And he's like, I didn't write my name in them. Repeatedly, he's like, no, I'm pretty sure I didn't put my name in it. I didn't put my name in it. Yet we got CBC, right? They have that photo in that article up here. Here we go. Oh, did they show it in this one? No, it's not in that one. The boot, and it says Wortman written in it. Okay. I'll look at McDonald a little bit more later. Just wanted to talk about the children. Sorry, the two minors, unnamed, Mr. Dave Brown. And you can go and check, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure he lives in the apartment blocks. There's 4 buildings right there on Plains Road. Pretty sure that's where he lives. And the descriptions don't seem to match. But if you guys think that the children's statements are the same, or it's just some, I don't know, discrepancy between witness interviews, then sure. All right. So on that note, I think I'll just go back and look through some of your notes. Are you off Blue Nose? I do hope that you have a great evening, 10:15. I've got more documents to read. Thank you very much for hanging and joining us all night. Workman was seen by someone a while before all this happened, around late at night in one of the Tauruses. Someone at the lodge at the Debert Hospitality property went out. Okay, so they have a name, right? I'm sure they would be more than happy to give testimony with their name attached to it as to what time and everything that all happened. And they saw him in the dark, in the vehicle, shiny badge or no shiny badge. I'm sure that they're going to come forward, right? 2 years later, though many people have appealed. I don't know, maybe they're just, I don't know. Who's that surfacing? Exact words as one of the kids. Exact same words. Guy shared the interaction with Wortman on a Facebook group. Okay, well, that's real good. Okay, that'd be like me doing this. Okay, you can't see nothing. And if I told you my name was Frank or Pizza, you'd probably believe me. If you got a name, put it in an affidavit. Swear to it. Perjury still exists, I think, in this country. No lights, no nothing, just saying. And if they're telling the truth, fantastic. That's what we need. No lights, no nothing also said something his kid said. I kind of got the feeling that he was asleep. He didn't know what time it was or anything. Didn't see the antenna. Probably because it was too dark. Well, probably. I guess he could see the bumper stickers and stuff. He said the lights were kind of old, but the antenna kind of sticks out. I mean, hell, you can see it from across. You can see it from the Pinio photo. It's pretty clear. But I'm again, it's dark. So if it's dark, too dark to see the antenna, then would it be too dark to see whether a person was wearing a hat or not, or whether they had a badge or not, or a dent in a bumper? One is dark, and kind of probably most things that aren't dark. The other is dark and, well, not dark, but it's nighttime, so it's dark. Weird is he saying that there was nothing but a light bar and stripes on the back. That's all that he saw, but that's all he said he saw. They just said, even though they wanted him to use senses and, I don't know, smelling salts or something. Occupants. Yeah, occupants. It's like a people in the car. Peterson driving around the car not logged in. Yeah, well, if you don't have people logged in, then frankly, Burl, sorry. Too bad. Don't know anything that you say could be true. Not that I'm accusing him of lying. I think he knows that there is there is such a seed of doubt, with all of it, that's why he's like multiple hypotheses. We don't really know. It's still a work in progress. We'll still be updating things. I couldn't say if it had a push bar or not. I don't know. You can see movement on a camera. He knows. Sounds like a fishing expedition to learn what bases they need covered. This is why I'm reminiscent to talk about certain things, because I don't think it's great to point out things, because it seems like that seems to be the whole game. As you point things out, then what was it? Chris Wortman's thing. What was the other one last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 things, next day, right away, boom, articles on them. I'm like, okay, come on. Exactly. It sounds like they're leading, hoping for more, doesn't have anything to say, not an impression the MCC, from the impression the MCC stage performs. No, totally different. Burrow's like, oh, well, see? You can see the suspect's vehicle. That's what he said. You can see it. Well, frankly, when I read through the information, I don't get the same impression. And I think lots of people who just took the time to read it would also see the same thing. Just like you guys are all taking time on other documents, I just kind of get bent on a few. But I'll get there. I'm slow. Yeah, there's a sketchy Lisa. That's sketchy. That's sketchy that Lisa said that. Sorry, what did Lisa say? Reminds me, there's at LB's statement where she said to the effect of, did they kill? And the interviewer brings it up later and she says, oh, did I say they? Yes, there's plurals listed in interesting places. If I ever us the word like, someone slapped me upside the head. Oh, use the word like? Yes. At least the statement's difficult. I think that one's filled with like, isn't it? Like. Yeah, very hard. I had to put it down. And something placed in Debert at some point. Witness tip. They go fish, backfill all the videos, stills to support their narrative. I'm not a tinfoil person. I'm just simply saying we obviously have seen a lot of fixing of things along the way that are quite provable. Is it beyond doubt if they're going to lie in a press conference repeatedly or any of this kind of stuff? They're going to go to the extents that they're going to cover all of this up. Is it unreasonable? I don't think so. Definitely a game of go fish. And they dumped his crap there days later as evidence. Very interesting that it sits out there for over a week. Over a week in the moisture and things, and just kind of lying on, just like it got laid down there. Indo in the scene at that point. Where are all his videos, by the way? His website and stuff. I guess he took that all away. Doesn't like people look at it anymore. Coat hanger would help us explain wardrobe change. Yes. That's a good thought. I guess he was wearing his shirt that didn't fit Chris. Or sorry, Chris's shirt didn't fit him. Multiple RCMP members in this family. If they would have put out the emergency alert, people would have known to be on guard. Many lives would have been saved. Absolutely. Absolutely. And culpability, pretty high. Anything outside of Portapic, pretty high. Debert is very sketchy no matter how they want to spin it. Caper agreeing with Loretta about the alert. Yep, if Dave and the other witnesses at the bottom of Plains Road got an alert, they wouldn't likely collided with the stranger cruiser with no lights. Peterson, no GPS. Was he at home? They all have GPS. This is bullshit. We all know it. Phones, car GPS, tons of them. Trust me. Work phone, lots of them. Nope, sorry. just like the phone records. Oh, well, we can get them till December, but we don't have any. Oh, but we can get them to December, but and after, yeah, no. Ouch. 2 cameras on the pizza shop. There's cameras on the school. There's cameras on the convenience store. There's cameras everywhere. Cameras. Private people's cameras, antique store cameras, fire hall cameras. Come on. All that they could give you after almost 2 years is this. You can see in the photo here, don't you know? Because it's gotta be him. You can tell. What? I can't tell nothing. Even girls, like, a lot of these old cop cars are taxis now. Hey, did anyone notice that there's pictures of the burnt warehousing? Might explain F-150 Jeep if there is there, and if Jeep is on site. To the best of my knowledge, the answer to that is no. I have not seen any picture of the truck on site. I have seen some pictures from the warehouse. There is no truck. There's no wreck of a truck. Truck is gone. Missing vehicles. Mercedes might or might not be in the garage. Who knows? And we have missing vehicles and appearing vehicles. Lantra, Hyundai, white. Maybe Dorrington has a point to complain about Peterson's habit of not logging in. There's all kinds of other points. GPS points. Just look at the code of conduct hearings. They pull them on their own members. So don't say that there's not one login. Unless he decide to, I don't know, put his phone in the shredder. That would be about the only way he wouldn't have GPS. No, you can't turn it off. Baby, better the world to believe unorganized flakes a suspect involved with this. Good point. I'm not saying anybody is or isn't involved with something, just raising questions. Good point. Dorrington has a lot to say. The MCC needed to hear from him. Not hearing from him. Few people have. Everybody, actually, not a few people, everybody, because that's the way that if you were doing an inquiry, that's the way it works. If you do a little shit show drama with multiple hypotheses that you keep writing, well, that's why nobody appears. Restorative justice. Was that 2 days after the press conference where they appealed to the people to come forward, read the info in Debert area? They appealed throughout the time. Those press conferences were running. Thank you for spending the day. No problem. Hope you were well, Linda. This was a while before Paul PP event that witness. I'm not sure what that's referring to. PP event. I will need to get in touch with them. They saw Wortman way before the incident. Okay, well, I'm sure that, hey, I'm interested why they haven't spoken to the police. But maybe they're afraid. I'm scared if we sit and wait MCC to figure it out. Well, they're not. Their job isn't to figure it out. We've all figured that one out. They will have made it up by March 28th and tell it to us. They try and feed us the facts and not look for anything else. That's a possibility. Don't use his name. Don't know anything. Why would the kids ever mention a hat? The person driving the police car in Debert didn't even have a hat on. Well, the cigar one did, didn't he? Who's seen him in the uniform, by the way, personally, that can attest to that? Oh, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher saw something, but we'll see what he says. McDonald said he was out that Sunday morning on the 19th and he called the RCMP. Did he? Oh. Pretty sure it's 26. I'll have to find that article. Could be wrong. Again, okay, well, he's out on the 19th. He drove from home to his shop on a Sunday. His home is very far away. Well, quite far away, 45 minutes about away from the shop. So down that way, interestingly enough. And that would be kind of dangerous, I would think. It was plastered all over the news to go and walk your dog. Just saying. I guess they don't recover the items, though, until the 26th. No, I'm pretty sure. I'll go back and I'll find the article. It's the 26th. He says and then he appears on the 28th, I think. Sorry, the 28th, 29th in the media. They actually talk about there was an article, I don't know if any of you remember that spoke about how it was a video, how they recovered video from the bakery. Also, that was in a video at that point in time. Shitty, spotty videos and pictures. Wow. No need to get, no proof they didn't get it off the internet. I don't know. It looks sketchy. Because if you have video, it's really easy to show. They never did. Though he told you they did. We have video evidence, we have video evidence, we have video evidence. Why would you do this if you have video evidence? If you have all kinds of camera angles? And those wherever the hell they went now. These things are quite telling. Video canvas reports. Quite telling to me. There's quite a bit in here. Makes ask a lot of questions. Car, Jeep, backhoe is the only thing I've seen. Yes. There also is remnants of what possibly could be a trailer, maybe even a travel trailer, but no truck. And the frame, I can't find the frame of the trailer. The rims are there and they sit properly. I hope the lawyers request and ask for proof of all vehicles, all of them. I think they should ask for proof of everything, all DNA reports, all audio, video, officer notes, GPS logs, people's phone logs, Celebrate records, every single thing, all videos, photos taken that night, all surveillance video, all the route, all up and down through Truro. There should be garbage piles of stuff, and it was easy to figure it out right away. You had the resources, C Division, Quebec plainclothes coming in. Interesting. Why are they coming in? Not general duty. Lisa's phone turned off from 5:30 on the 18th, they're claiming. Really? Okay, I don't understand reports, so I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Maybe I like the forwarding to another dental clinic. For a covert run on midnight. Okay, something about eggs. I don't understand. I'm guessing the MCC has already a clear idea of what exactly happened. Oh, I think they knew probably right away. Like, not the MCC. I get the idea that the RCMP war room knew right away. And it was, please don't ask questions. No. How do we believe any evidence? Nothing is collected, properly tested for proof, DNA. Video canvas states time is accurate, but is the date accurate? I don't know. I really don't even know. I don't mean to be such a cynical person, but they're going to heights that I have seen some interesting things throughout this world. This really takes it to a different level. Any thoughts on radio transcript or Colchester being an hour off? Okay, so has anybody got a list going? I would like if somebody could just note down all the different things where there are times and things off, and we're using Ottawa time and whatever else, and half an hours, and Cigar Hut doesn't work, and well, even that one didn't work. And sorry, our time scale, the way scale didn't work. We need a big list, and then we can just like bang, 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 like one point after another point after another point after another point after another point, showing, well, doesn't seem like anything seems to work. Clocks in Nova Scotia. Explanation from the RCMP is lost in translation to Ottawa. Well, Ottawa is going down. The entire Colchester radio transmissions. Really, I haven't heard anything about that. So the original Colchester tapes, which I think scooped up fairly early on, those are supposedly out now. Is that what I'm hearing? Right. That makes sense. Well, sometimes the simplest explanation is the easiest. It's not that everybody else's clocks are off. Maybe they're right. It's referenced in Corey's homicide investigation report. Yeah. There was a lot of talk in the first few days after this happened. It sounds like a lot of people might have seen more than possible. And yeah, I think probably. I'll tell you, the silence was deafening. And now, all of a sudden, certain people are talking. And my question is, why now? Why now do suddenly people see something? Interviews are conducted way late in the game. Where's the 1035 witness, by the way? Oh, I guess that one doesn't work anymore. Anyway, I shouldn't be so cynical. Thank you very much for joining me and helping, and all of the lots and lots of work going on over in the Discord, and lots of discussion going on around, which is fantastic, and spreading the word so that we can get more people interested. Don't get fooled, please, by the fact that there's only a few hundred people that watch, say, these videos. I'll tell you, I know, and I don't use that easily, know that it's bullshit. What has gone on over here has caused major problems down in Ottawa. And that's you guys, and that's, hard work. And so please keep the message going, keep it growing, because families need that. Frankly, all of Canada does. This is very serious. If we're at this level, people aren't going to be responsible, people aren't going to be honest, we're in a really serious hole. So God bless you all. God bless the 23. Let's keep at this. Be strong.